A new study is linking tumors in rats to exposure to cell phone radiation, but the study is raising more questions than answers and is being challenged by some. Edward Lawrence has more from Los Angeles.
A new government study finds slight increases in brain and heart tumors in male rats exposed to cell phone radiation.
These findings are potentially of interest to the discussion over the cell phone safety issues.
The rats were exposed to heavy radiation for 9 hours a day, every day for 2 years. Female rats in the study were not affected, and rats not exposed to cell phone radiation died at a higher rate than those that were. An outside reviewer of the research wrote, "I am unable to accept the author's conclusions. I suspect that this experiment is substantially underpowered and that the few positive results found reflect false positive findings." There's been a long-standing concern that radiation from cell phones could be linked to cancer in people, but with no definitive findings, there's no recommendation to change phone habits. The American Cancer Society says the study is one part of the scientific puzzle, but we don't have all the pieces yet.
The takeaway from the study is that we should be cautious, especially about children using cell phones, especially children using cell phones for a prolonged period of time.
The study authors also emphasize these findings are partial and preliminary. Edward Lawrence for CBS News, Los Angeles.
And researchers say it's unlikely someone will replicate this study due to its scope, expense, and evolving cell phone technology. Well, a diet that's too low in sodium may actually increase risk of cardiovascular disease. Researchers found people who ate less than 3 grams of salt had 26% increased risk of death, heart attack, and stroke. That's compared to those who consumed 4 to 5 grams of salt a day. For people with hypertension, the risk increased to 34%. Current guidelines recommend people get 2.3 grams of sodium per day, and the study's lead author says eating less salt does lower blood pressure, but lowering sodium intake can be harmful. Dozens of doctors and professors are calling for this year's Olympic Games to be postponed or moved. More than 100 doctors wrote an open letter to the World Health Organization, which was released on Friday. The letter says it is unethical to run the risk. The CDC's current recommendation is that pregnant women should not travel to areas where the Zika virus is spreading, but the World Health Organization says that changing the location will not alter the spread of the disease. The International Olympic Committee has said that it has no plans to cancel or postpone this year's games. Doctors have found a woman in the United States that's carrying a superbug that is resistant to even the most heavy-duty antibiotics. Doctors say the organism didn't even respond to colistin, the antibiotic of last resort.
Just assume we'll be able to treat infections. We may lose that ability.
Now CDC officials are working to find out how the woman contracted that type of bacteria. And plenty of people are hitting the road for the holiday weekend. A look at what you could expect if you're taking to the roads or the skies this weekend. Plus, I have your weekend outlook. That's coming up right after the break. Stay with us.